The purpose of this video is to demonstrate target account masking in advanced allocations. Target account masking is particularly useful in certain allocation scenarios. Consider a situation where you want to allocate many of the accounts in a department to the same accounts in other departments. Let's look at a specific example. Assume that we want to allocate all of the 6,000 series accounts in Department 100 to Departments 200, 300, 400, 500, and 600. On the left-hand side of the screen, those source accounts, their balances, the target departments, and their desired percentages are shown. The desired allocation entries are shown on the right-hand side of the screen. At the top, you'll see the allocation of the first source account, 6100. You can see that account 100, 6100, is credited, and that account 6100 for all the departments other than 100 are debited. Below that, you can see the allocation of source account 100, 6110, and you can see the debits into departments 200, 300, 400, 500, and 600, again to the same natural account 6110. And then below that, you can see the allocation of account 6120. In this example, we've only shown 3 of the entries related to 3 of the source accounts, but that same type of entry would have to happen for each of the source accounts. Let's look at how we handle this allocation situation in advanced allocations. Here we are in GP 2013, and we're going to go into the advanced allocation card. We're going to set up a new allocation. We're going to call it Department 100. And we're going to fill out some other information that we need to set up the allocation. Including a balancing account. Okay, now we need to tell it what the source accounts are for this allocation. Earlier we said it's going to be all the accounts in Department 100, where the natural account begins with 6. So I'm just going to do that using the auto add feature. You can see that it's automatically added all the 6,000 accounts in Department 100. Now I'm going to enter each of my target departments, and the first one's going to be 200. And notice I'm going to mask the natural account portion of the target, hence the name target account masking. And I'll do this for each of our departments. And then after I put in all of the departments and their masking, I will put in the percentages, just as we had in the example up on the screen. Those percentages were 20, 30, 25, 14, and 11. Okay, now we're done setting up the allocation. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And one thing to note here is that while we did that all in one allocation entry, that would have taken at least 10 in standard GP allocations. And we would have had to set up many more target accounts than just the 6 that we had to set up in this example with the masking. Now let's look at running that allocation and looking at the entries that would be created. We're now going to go to the Process Advanced Allocations option under Transactions. We're going to select that allocation, and it just happens to be it's the only one that's set up right now. We're not going to process tiers, and we're going to create the entries. Now let's take a look at the entries that were created by clicking on the List button. And these entries should look very similar to what we saw in the example earlier. At the top of the entry, we can see a number of credits. These are all the amounts coming out of Department 100. And if we go farther down, we can start seeing the debits into the other departments. For example, here we can see the debits into Department 200 for account 6100, 6110, 6130, and so on. If we go to the next page of the report, we can see the allocations into Department 300 into the same natural accounts. And if we scroll farther down the report, we can see similar allocations to Department 400, 500, and 600.